Hello there. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Superior Fencing 800 Newton HEMA fencing jacket. These were sent to us free of charge by Superior Fencing to test and review. This particular model is a little too large for me. It's an XL. I really need a large for a good fit, but the size meant that quite a few people in the AHF were able to give it a good test as well. So it's not just me that's had a go, Nick's had a go, and a load of other members. So we've got to try it out with different types of weapons, different types of people, and see exactly what we think. Now, I've already put it on. I actually shot this video twice. The first time I recorded it, I didn't realise that there were two zips. So you can see if I open it up, you've got the outer zip, and then there's also an inner zip, just in here. So I shot the entire video with only one zip done up and the jacket half open. So that was really great. So anyway, in terms of the actual design, this particular one, it's designed to replicate a sort of a historical or semi-historical garment. So it looks a little bit like a doublet, almost into a sort of a soldier's coat, and with some extra detailing that I'll show you in a moment, including these flaps that are down at the kind of the hips. Again, as I said, I'll show you that later, and I'll also pop up some photos as I'm going through the video review, so you can see what it looks like on different people and while it's being used, ready for sparring and with fencing gear, helmets and all that kind of stuff on. Now, I ordered this particular sort of combination of colours. So this is the oxblood red, so not the normal red, this is the oxblood red, a little darker, more like a sort of a burgundy sort of wine colour. Black for the arms, and I don't know if you can see the stitching. The stitching is, let's have a look, it's black and sort of crisscrossed along the red. Also black stitching on the arms, but you can't really tell that because the arms are black. It's got quite a cool look, sort of a little bit like the sort of David Lynch still suit design from the 80s, sort of the sort of catch pockets running down here, or maybe not, but I think it kind of looks like that. So it's quite a funky design, looks quite cool. And you've got these pieces on the shoulders as well that sort of give the effect of a doublet, also Renaissance jacket sort of style, where you can have sort of a shirt, blouse, sort of something else underneath. But it's actually all joined together. So if you look here, I'll bring it back. It's all nicely stitched, but it's all one piece. So these kind of little extra detailing bits, they're only there for sort of aesthetic reasons, because it looks cool, which is good enough reason. But you do need to bear in mind that this is a potential sort of point of catching a blade. So if you were standing here, you were fighting with the right arm in front, if a blade comes along, it will catch in there, whereas normally it might glance off. So just something to bear in mind. That's the price you pay for fashion. In terms of overall protection, my normal jacket, the one I use most of the time, is my 350 Newton AP Light from Spares. I have the 800 Newton, but I prefer the 350. I find the material is much more flexible, it's more comfortable to wear. But the 800 Newton's handy if you need to use it for sort of tournaments or similar. Now this one, in comparison, it's a chunkier jacket. There's quite definitely more protection. The front along here is quite padded, so it feels quilted, and you've got a kind of a double layer, being as you've got it folding over like a double-breasted sort of suit or jacket. So you've got nice protection along here, all the way down to the belly button and down to where these movable flaps are that I'll show you in a moment. You've got protection, sort of reasonable protection along the ribs. I'll move back a little bit. So along the ribs down here, you've got padding as well. Padding right up to the armpits. Nice padding on the upper arms. That actually feels like there's I think there's foam in there. Either foam or it's quilted, sort of double layered. But you've got nice protection on the upper arm that goes all the way around the arm. Yep. Same also true for the forearms. So you've got nice padding along here that cuts off at this point. So where the material would sort of reach out to where your gloves are, that's sort of unpadded. So if you fold it back, this is just their standard 800 Newton material, whereas this bit is actually padded. So that's quite nice. The back, I'll just turn around and get a fancy look. That's a thermo venting panel, so that will help take out some of the heat from the jacket. make it more breathable. You'll hopefully be able to fire it a bit longer. You won't get worn out or so tired quite so quickly. The collar, you can see, although it's been used for quite a few fights, this collar is still quite stiff, so it feels almost like I'm wearing a stock. So that would be good if I want to sort of recreate sort of 18th century sort of British redcoat sort of stuff, so I can have my head just locked like this. So it'll take a little while to soften up, but it's nice and solid, and you've got the usual blade catcher built underneath, so that's good. And I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe you can order slight variations in the collar if you want it to go inside or outside the helmet, but you'll need to check with Superior Fencing on that. In terms of actual use, I've used this one for sparring. Now it is too big for me, but saying that, the manoeuvrability is excellent. See, the jacket barely moves. The movement of the arms is really good. I can bring my arms up nice and high, so if I want to go to a high guard, I can bring the arms up, and the jacket barely moves. So none of that irritating exposing the midriff, which none of us really want, do we? So you lift it up and then you get slashed in the belly and you've got no protection. Well, that's not going to happen with this. You can bring the arms up, the jacket barely moves, which is quite pleasant. And the arm rotation, excellent as well. And bear in mind, this has only been used for probably a dozen, 15 fights at the most. So that's pretty good. Sometimes it can take quite a while to soften. Now, I've also done a review of the lounge neck jacket, and this has a similar issue. It's not a major issue, but something to bear in mind is that these flaps, I suppose I should actually show you. Is that enough? No, a little bit more. Bear with me. Okay, so I've moved back. So hopefully, yeah, you can see them now. That's good. So these flaps, they're kind of a little bit like tassets. They go all the way around, so you even get a bit of backside protection as well. Handy for anybody that likes to do spinning attacks, because as we know, that's a good trick. But if you like doing spinning attacks, or you tend to expose your flank or your bottom as you're fencing, then you'll appreciate the extra protection. Now, these are actually relatively thick. It's not sort of like a loose piece of material hanging down. It actually feels very much like the rest of the jacket. So you've got two here, the ones on the sides, and the two on the back. So that all works quite nicely. But if you don't get the jacket sized right, so you've got these hanging down not far above the knees, so hanging down quite low, it's going to hold all the heat in. So even though you've got the thermovent panel on the back, these could be a little bit of an irritation. My recommendation, as I said for the other jacket, is make sure you order the jacket to the correct length. So don't order it so the bottom of the jacket comes all the way down to maybe slightly longer than you would normally have, thinking you need the extra protection for when you bring your arms up. And remember that you've got these extra pieces fitted. So you can actually afford to have the jacket a little better fitted than maybe you would normally go for. Have it cut off just below the belly button maybe, so it's cut off about here, and then have the flaps. Right, that's enough of my tummy. Yeah, let's come back so you can concentrate on the rest of me. So it's a minor thing, but those flaps, the extra protection, just bear in mind it does mean a bit of heat retention. So get a properly fitted jacket, and I think it'll be less of an issue. The extra protection is really nice though. I tend to find, because I do a lot of mire, and I have a lot of triangle stepping and sort of lateral stepping, moving off to the side, and it twists. There's a lot of body twisting going on. It does expose the sides, and I do occasionally get a hit. It will take a hit, or maybe a glancing blow after I've hit somebody. It'll slide down and hit low on the side. These extra flaps really help. Or if you step in and strike somebody straight in the head and their blade drops down, runs down, catches you maybe at the top of the leg, which can be quite irritating. And often where we don't have much padding, well, you've got these extra pieces. So you've got a bit of spaced armour fitted on you. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this. As I said, I've done the review of this jacket and the lounge neck jacket. I like them both. The lounge neck jacket is a slightly heavier dutier. It's a slightly heavy duty version, sort of compared to this jacket. So if you hold the two, one in each hand, there's a definite difference. It's about 20-30% heavier. At least that's the way it feels to me. So this is sort of a lighter version of the same kind of thing. It moves really nicely, breathes well, and the build quality, stitching and material is always good with Superior fencing. Overall, I'm actually quite impressed. I had a choice between whether to order one of these or the Lange neck jacket. I'm not quite sure. I might actually order one of each. I'm certainly ordering the Lange neck jacket. I may order this one, or Superior Fencing do always offer other jackets that can take elements from the ones you like. So there's a lot to like about this one. So I'm kind of torn as to which ones to buy. But I will be buying 2 Superior Fencing jackets quite soon. In terms of colours, I would always recommend you have a look around at jackets and sort of Pluderhosen that people have already bought, so you can check the colours. This oxblood red actually looks quite dark in the flesh, and the gold looks more like sort of a yellowy orange. So if you can find somebody with similar kit, check it first, because the images on the website are not sort of brilliant in terms of what they look like in reality. But overall, 16th century fencing jacket, or I think it's 16th century 800 Newton HEMA Jacket. I'll put the exact name and the link in the review. I'm pretty impressed. It's a good price, good protection, and more importantly, it looks really cool. Any questions about the jacket, pop them in the comment section as normal. I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks for watching.